There's a few things, about 3 things to my account that I need each day. One of them is something to look up to, another is something to look forward to, and another is someone to chase. My hero, that's who I chase. Now, when I was 15 years old, I had a very important person in my life come to me and say, who's your hero? And I said, I don't know, I gotta think about that. Give me a couple of weeks. I come back 2 weeks later, this person comes up and says, who's your hero? I said, I thought about it. You know who it is? I said, it's me in 10 years. So I turned 25 10 years later. That same person comes to me and goes, so are you a hero? And I was like, not even close. No. She said, why? I said, because my hero is me at 35. So you see, every day, every week, every month, and every year of my life, my hero's always 10 years away. I'm never gonna be my hero. I'm not gonna attain that. I know I'm not, and that's just fine with me because that keeps me with somebody to keep on chasing.
What is up, YouTube? Live via satellite here, and today we are talking Kingdom, manga chapter 597 and 598. So yes, I've been away for a few weeks, but guess what? While many of you may think I've been slacking off and not doing my weekly duty of producing Kingdom content for the loyal subscribers to this channel, you'd be absolutely wrong. At least somewhat, because while I haven't released a video for like the past 3 chapters, I actually did record live reactions for all 3. And I actually planned on releasing not only 597 and 598's live reactions, but also one for 596. But unfortunately, the YouTube gods conspired against me, and all the editing I had done for that particular file was lost. And since I wasn't trying to do it again, well, we're going straight to 597 and 598. But since I still do feel slightly bad about missing chapter 596 too, I'm going to try to do a recap in under 20 seconds of the entire chapter. News begins to spread of Shirsa's death. Ten cries. Everybody else wants to cry, but Shin tells them that he already cried for them. Naki found Chigaru, the Hishin unit gives chase, and Gyun awakes wearing the most spiffy outfit I've ever seen. Gyun wonders if Chigaru's having trouble. Over at Chigaru, he's having trouble. Surrounded by the Hishin unit, it's not looking good for him and his men. Chigaru, in complete shock of the current situation, mentally checks out of the current battle, goes into a flashback mode where we see Rinshoujo telling him and Gyun that they need to speak of the lands that they call home. And that was the chapter in a nutshell, guys. Literally. Whew, try saying that 10 times fast.
I spunk myself. Alright,
so this week's chapter is called Good Luck. And we actually pick up right where we left off in the last chapter with the flashback. And we see Chigaru, Rinshoujo, and Gyun. And right away we see that Chigaru's speaking. And what he's saying is, these lands that we call home, you refer to all the warring kingdoms, my lord? And Rinshoujo calls, indeed. Do the two of you still remember when I spoke of this same subject with a foe of ours in the midst of battle? And did we see both Gyun and Chigaru surprised? The Battle of Ba Hills. That's right, cough cough. And who else would it be? Next page. Oh, but Ouki. Wow, and we just get to see, I miss this man. And we just get to see Ouki and Toe in the background. Oh, wow. Now, look, I was actually hoping that this flashback stuff didn't take too long, but seeing that it's Ouki, I don't think I'm gonna mind seeing Rinshoujo versus Ouki. And then we see Rinshoujo, and he's got his vassals behind him, Gyun and Chigaru. Okay, so now we're seeing some of the battle, and it looks like they're at a creek with forces on both sides. And we see Rikumi saying, you better thank your ancestors tonight for sending this tiny river to save your asses right at the end. Consider yourself lucky to escape, Rinshoujo of the 3 great heavens. And then we see Chigaru speaking. Only a cretin like you would chalk this up to luck. Clearly it was our master who led you here, fool. Ah, the hell did you say? I'll tear your head off. By all means, I'd like to see you try, Chigaru says. Whew. I've wanted to meet you for a while now. To see you and your face in the flesh. And this is Rinshoujo speaking. Ouki of Qin's 6 great generals. Wow. And then you see Ouki. Kook, 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 kook. And the lips are in full force here. No need to be shy. You're welcome to come closer and have a better look. And just as I expected, Rinshoujo speaking, for better or worse, a lot of you truly are filled with a pure innocence. Phew. And I was actually wondering what he meant, and it looks like Ouki was questioning it too. But that comes as no surprise. After all, your innocence is the same as that possessed by your own king. The same king who wages war across these lands with the eyes of a young boy. He has been given the moniker of the likes of God of War. Well, then we see Rikomi pissed off, and he's like, don't speak of our king when you know nothing about him. I'll feed you to the dogs. And then we see Doken saying, actually, Rinshoujo has met with his majesty on 2 occasions. 2, wow. And back to Rinshoujo, and there's no doubt that it's that very same innocence that has made all of you as strong as you are. But that is still not enough. And as he's looking at Ouki, the fact that it's not enough, and then we see Rinshoujo actually bending down to take his helmet off, simply means that it is not yet time. These lands of ours still have not completely finished ripening. And looking at Rinshoujo here, he like kind of reminds me of Moten, man. And as Ouki and the rest of the guys were looking on, we see Rimbo here, and it looks like he's grabbing another man's spear. And he chucks it at Rinshoujo, and Rinshoujo doesn't even move because Chigari is quick to deflect it. And when Gyun sees it, he grabs a spear, and he throws that one at Ouki, and Toe comes in and deflects that. That was a nice little exchange right there. We see Rikumi pissed off again, and Ouki says, Rikumi. And he's like, wait, me, not Rimbo? He's like, I didn't do anything.
Based on our investigation, you started the fight. You lost the fight, but you also started the fight.
Sir, I didn't even do nothing.
He's got a net back injury.
Now back to Rinshoujo speaking, but that does not mean that our actions have been for naught. If anything, it is to us that falls a most vital of roles. And then we get Ouki speaking, herding these lands towards that moment of maturity, I presume. Rinshoujo, exactly. Mankind is a creature woven together by the emotions that they feel. Whether it is pain, sorrow, or joy, we have always lived whilst being connected together. Then Ouki says, just what exactly are you trying to say? And I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of just wondering that myself. Me and Ouki were like on the same page.
We don't know what that is.
You don't know what it is?
Nah.
Y'all know what the Eiffel Tower is?
Nah.
Well, Eiffel Tower is when the girl's here and you do the high five. When she...
Oh, nah.
No Eiffel Theater?
Nah.
Never?
Nah.
I'm saying, bro.
Nah.
You know?
And back to Rinshoujo, I'm sure that by now you've grasped some inkling that for many, many long years, these lands have been waiting for that fateful day. And we get like a real nice panel of like Rinshoujo looking into the sky, reaching his hand up. And as Ouki and the rest of the guys look on, rumble, we see some armies coming from the back. And Rinshoujo says, let's not overstay our welcome. Then Ouki's men, they're running away. Wait, stop, son of a... And Rinshoujo says, Ouki. And we see he's got Ouki's attention. And Rinshoujo says, you should pray for good luck. I shall be doing the same. And Ouki laughs, for whose good luck may I ask? Questioning Rinshoujo. And as Shigaryo looks on and Rinshoujo turns around, he says, who knows? And we see Shin grasping Ouki's glaive. And obviously this is who the good luck is for, right? So, and whoa! And we find that he's right in front of Shigaryo. That was sudden. And a little bit more flashback. See, because I was feeling like this was going to give Shigaryo a little bit of a power up, just like flashback here. Give him a little bit of a boost, you know what I mean? And I guess we get back to more of the original flashback. And Rinshoujo's coughing and he's like, these lands cough. These lands have long grown tired of war. They yearn for nothing more than to become one great whole. But achieving that is easier said than done, exceedingly so. Still, one day, when the time is right, that chance will come. And if that opportunity were to end in failure, then perhaps these kingdoms of ours will remain fragmented for eternity, never knowing true peace, with only constant warfare and bloodshed as its bedfellow. My hope is for a united land, one that is achieved by Zhao's hands, but perhaps that sword of unification shall lie in another state's hands. And we see both Rinshoujo and Chigaru looking on. And Rinshoujo calls again, but this time there's a little bit of blood in the mix. And he says, what I will say next is simply more of my usual musings, stored away somewhere in the corner of your memory. There are two matters I wish to pass down to you. Then we see Chigaru and Gyun almost like leaning in to like make sure they catch what Rinshoujo is about to say. The first is that should there ever come a day where you encounter an enemy holding that sword in their grasp. Whoa, then we find ourselves back in the present and Chigaru is like knocking Shin back, like blasting him back. Like it says, no matter what price you must pay, they must die. And just like I thought, like Chigaru is going to get like a little bit of a boost thinking about his, master's words. And it's actually kind of surprising too, because I really didn't expect that Chigaru would have like any real power to him. Because I kind of thought this was just something that Gyun specialized in. But it looks like Chigaru is no slouch as well. And then we're seeing some of the Hishin unit guys looking on like, whoa, Shin. And as Shin's falling back, we see Chigaru enraged, like screaming. And he's still hearing the words of his master Rinshoujo. Do you hear me? Draw out all that you have shouldered up to that moment and unleash it all. Shatter them into pieces. And we see as Chigaru was going in for another attack, Shin was actually able to block that one. And then in the final panel, you see Shin, struggling to hold on. But he probably knows now that Chigaru isn't going to go down that easily. And that was the chapter in a nutshell, guys.
And now, before the next show starts, let's enjoy an intermission. You'll find our snack bar chock full of good things to eat and drink. Tasty, tempting hot dogs, thirst-quenching soft drinks, fresh, crunchy popcorn, a complete assortment of delicious candy, and a full line of cigarettes. You've plenty of time, so visit the snack bar now.
All right. Before we even get started in the chapter 598, this color page with Shin is crazy. Wow. I really like this color page. We see Shin actually rocking a sword, and we haven't seen him use that in a while. And seeing Ace in the corner of this cover page, it just reminds me that this movie's come out, man. And I really actually want to see it. I hope it did the series justice. What? I just did all that talking and we get a Kyokai one? Chapter 598 Woven. No matter how far or distant those days may be, you are still connected together. The live action movie is currently airing across Japanese theaters to great reception. Alright, 598. 2 chapters away from 600. Alright, so the chapter starts out with us seeing Bananji, it looks like. And if I remember correctly, they should be fighting against the Akko army. And I remember Akaken was going to go try to fight him. So let's see what happens here. Alright, so we see some guys fighting. Don't let them push you back. Do not tarnish the name of the Akko army. And we see Bananji doing what he does against some of the fodder of the Akko army, slicing clean through them. And we see those fodders saying, damn that Bananji. But something's caught Bananji's attention. And there he is, Akaken clashing with Bananji. Okay. We lost the Ben brothers, somebody's telling Akaken. He tells them, don't stop. And as Bananji and his men look on, one of them says, them again, they're like flies who keep buzzing around us. Sir, perhaps I should take my men and go after that Akaken fellow. No, the last thing you want to do is be led head first into a trap. It's pretty smart of Bananji. This tactic that Akaken was using actually reminded me a lot of what Moten was doing earlier with Bate and Kishui. Bate even said the same thing about Moten's men being annoying like flies. So I just found it interesting that they're using like the same type of like stall tactic. And I'm sure that Akaken had something set up if Bananji and his men gave chase, but apparently Bananji isn't foolish enough to fall for such obvious bait.
Oh my god. Ah, my fucking face. Fucking asshole.
Instead, we should focus on culling the enemy's number a bit more. We're almost at the point where they won't be able to hold us back any longer. We get another shot of Bananji's amazing hair. That will allow us to rush to Jagaryu's aid with a great many men in tow. Then I will take Shin of the Hishin unit's head and parade it, oh my god, and parade it around high for all to see. Bananji has visions of grandeur.
I think I can. I think I can.
Then back to Akakin. Damn it, Bananji's not falling for it anymore. This is bad, Captain. They can't hold back Bananji's unit any longer. Then Akakin says, form up. We'll hit their rear one more time. Yes, sir. Let's go. We see Akakin doing his laugh. Kiki. And he's thinking, we can't keep Bananji here for much longer. Hurry, Shin of the Hishin unit. And over at the battle where the Gyun's army is facing off against the Gyokko, we see that everybody's fighting. We see Shotaku, we see Banyo, and Banyo saying, hold the line. But as they're struggling, we see some of the Zao breaking through. Alright, we got past them. Go, go. And over at Banyo's men, shit, they got out. Damn it. And as Banyo's looking completely shocked, he tells his men, it's not over. As long as we avoid a total breakthrough, every second we earn counts. We just need to minimize the number of enemies that get through. So long as we can do that, Shin of the Hishin unit is sure to slay Chigaryu. And then we see Banyo thinking in his head, Shin, there's not much time left. Then we move it back over to Ten and her men at the HQ. The Bananji army to our left seems to be headed for us. A few from the Gyun coming from the right too. What? A report, there's a small enemy detachment that's headed for this HQ. Prepare the horses. If it comes to it, we'll abandon the HQ, huh? And it's funny that they bring up this small detachment because I believe it's a detachment that Chigaryu had sent a few chapters ago when he thought that he was going to be able to take out Shin and Kyokai. But Ten yells out to the messenger, more importantly, is there any news of Shin? Still nothing so far. Then you see Ten looking nervous but thinking in her head, Shin, you can do it. And over at Shin, we see that he's still facing off against Chigaryu. And we see the men surrounding. Chigaryu-sama is in a duel. We must kill Shin of the Hishin unit. Hooah! So it looks like they're trying to, interfere in a duel.
This was Steve McCarthy versus Tony Wilson, and as you can see, Wilson's getting the worst of it, and the fight's about to be stopped when in comes Ma Wilson. Good old Ma Wilson with a stiletto heel.
But then we see Kyokai jumping in, stop them. But as she's trying to fight, we see her coughing up blood. And when she coughs up the blood, it looks like Danae notices it. And it looks like that other Zao enemy picks up on it too. Out of our way, woman. Kyokai must have been more hurt than she let on. She got smacked off that horse. Kyokai, Danae. Then we see, who is this? It looks like Gaara. I'll get her, cover me. Gaara. Ooh, and then Shin is getting smacked. Listen, Chigaryu has some power with him. I really didn't think he had that. But you know what? It might be because Shin, just like how Kyokai just got knocked off by some random fodder, Shin may still be like exhausted from what he's been going through too. Then we see Danae screaming for Shin. It's kind of like you're in the middle of a game and your two best players get knocked out. Danae right now is feeling like Tony Kukoc if like Jordan and Pippen both limped off the court with sprained ankles on like back-to-back plays. And I don't know if Shin just hit the ground, but Danae's just like, shit, shit, shit. Okay, he didn't. And then he screams out, don't lose to him, Shin. And Shin is gritting his teeth. Blood is spurting everywhere. And Chigaryu just continues to come with the haymakers. Yo, everybody's in shock. Nobody can believe what they're seeing right now. And they're saying, how? How could he be that strong? Even taking into account Shin's injuries, wasn't Chigaryu meant to be one of those strategist types? You know what? That's exactly what everybody's been thinking. And then we see Chigaryu. Weak? How could I possibly be weak? If man is woven together by the threads of memories and dreams, then on my two shoulders rest. What? And we see him looking into the past, looking at all the people who rest on his shoulders. The lives of the 8 who passed away before me. Oh yeah, that's right. I kind of forgot that Rinshoujo had all those guys. As well as the life of my master Rinshoujo. He who was robbed of his golden age by an illness. Within me lies their hopes, their dreams, their aspirations. And that is why. And then we see him slamming Shin again. Be shattered into pieces, Shin of the He Shin unit. Well, Chigaru is putting up a fight, man. This is pretty surprising, I can't lie. And what? Shin better not fall off this horse. And everybody's just... This face Dene's making is like something Heki would do. And everybody's just looking on, and Shin is just getting flung back, like almost about to fall off his horse. And his eyes are like whited out, like he's literally passing out right now. And his Garu's looking on saying, Shin. We see his hand grabbing the reins and he yanks himself back up. And so Chigaru and everyone else looks pretty surprised. And Chigaru says he still won't fall. And as Kyokai's looking on, she says to Garo, in that case, Shin won't lose either. Because he is also woven from head to toe with the hopes and dreams of all those people. All of there. And then we see Hiyo, Bito, Shosa, the Duke, Renko, Mangoku, Sekio. Because he is also all of their legacies. And of course, the biggest one of all, Ouki. And we see Shin winding up with the image of Ouki behind him. And we see Chikari saying, what? Ouki? No! He can see him? Oh! Or is he seeing Ouki and Shin? And Shin's eyes are completely whited out. Woo! And he comes down on Chigaru. And we see crack. And I don't know. I think he might have cracked Chigaru's glaive. Maybe? Let's see. Oh no. No. And we see Chigaru's men turn around. Ah! It looks like he actually got him in his armor. And we just see blood spurting out everywhere. And Chigaru's men screaming out, Chigaru-sama! Then we see Gyun looking into the sky. Sir, please return. And I think Gyun knows something's about to happen here. It looks like the sun's setting. Maybe the day's almost over. And back over at Chigaru, General, sir! And Chigaru and Shin both look spent. And Dene and everyone else is looking on. And Shin says, I will not lose. I will not shatter. Because I am Ace, the king who will unify this land's unbreakable sword. Then we see Chigaru thinking, unification. And I guess what we're about to get here is the second thing that Rinshoujo was talking about. Because in the last chapter, they only discussed the first. And Rinshoujo says, these lands yearn to become one great whole. And we see Shin and I. And Rinshoujo, there are 2 matters I wish to pass down to you. The second is, and he's obviously thinking back to those things, I am Shin. And then we see, wow, Shin is raging. Then we see Chigaru saying, Gyun. And the raging Shin says, a man who will become a great general of the heavens. Oh. Chigaru, he says the rest is up to you. And he gets sliced in half. Wow. Oh, man, Chigaru is done. Wow, that was a great chapter. He says, Gyun, the rest is up to you. But we still really didn't get to hear what that second thing was. But the chapter's over, guys, and that was an awesome chapter, man. So I'm guessing when we see Gyun, we might get enlightened on what that second thing is. But for now, that was the chapter in a nutshell, guys. Alright, guys, so yeah, that was a great chapter of Kingdom. Actually, a really great batch of chapters of Kingdom. And I actually don't mind that we're going over these couple of chapters all at once here, because these last 2 chapters especially really just seem like one big chapter. But I have to say, the thing that shocked me the most in these chapters was just how much of a fight that Chigaru was able to put up. I really wasn't expecting him to be that strong, but as we got to see, he was carrying a lot of weight, especially from the other 8 deputies of Rinshoujo and of course Rinshoujo himself. And obviously, as we got to see, it still really wasn't enough. But before we get too deep into that and what happened this chapter, since we're talking about Rinshoujo, I think that's a pretty good place to start. I really think Hard did an excellent job with his flashbacks to the Battle of Ba Hill. Not only did we get to see what Rinshoujo was like, but we got to see what it was like when 2 monsters from the previous era actually encountered each other. That interaction between Ouki and Rinshoujo was just an awesome thing to see, but we also got to see that Rinshoujo was already of the mindset of unification. Not only did he speak about it to Chigaryu and Gi-eun, but he also spoke about it to Ouki. And seeing that he met with King Sho on 2 separate occasions, I would think that he actually spoke about it with him as well. And when you look at this flashback, it's almost as if Rinshoujo is predicting the future that one day Eisei and Shin will try to unite all of China. Because he really seemed to know that it wouldn't happen in his era because the lands hadn't ripened enough. And even when he tells Ouki to pray for good luck and that he'll be doing the same, and Ouki's all like, well, whose good luck should I pray for? And when Rinshoujo says who knows, it's almost like it's because Shin and Sei aren't really in the picture just yet. And Rinshoujo's insight is even creepier when we see exactly what he says to Gi-eun and Chigaryu about the Sword of Unification, and how he tells them both that he would love for Zhao to be the state to unite all the lands. But if that sort of unification lies in another state's hands, then there were 2 matters that he wanted to pass down to them. The first is that if they ever encounter someone holding that sword, then they must die. They must be shattered into pieces. And that's all from 597, so that's why it's so important in 598 when Chigaryu tells Shin to be shattered into pieces with his final blow, that not only does Shin not shatter, but he tells Chigaryu that he won't, because he is Eisei's, the king who will unite these lands' unbreakable sword. So when I think about the 2 matters that Rinshoujo wanted to pass down to Chigaryu and Gi-eun, obviously it looks like Chigaryu tried to handle the first matter and failed, so it seems like we're going to get whatever the second matter is from Gi-eun. And I know a lot of people might be thinking this, but it may be along the lines of if you can't beat them, join them type of a message. But I really don't see Gi-eun going out that way. I kind of feel like it's something that Gi-eun would say to Shin, like when he's on his last breath after, fighting against him. And it could be really something simple like Gi-eun telling Shin that he entrusts the lands to them, or, be just to their citizens, stuff like that. But who knows when we'll actually get that message, because even though I want to see it happen next chapter, who knows when we'll actually get to see Gi-eun and Shin actually fight again. Because you really gotta wonder, can the battle even continue now that Chigaryu's dead? We actually heard it from Osun himself when they took out Gakue that they had made a mistake and they should have went for Chigaryu because he was the brains of the entire left wing. And even in 597, Gi-eun hinted himself that if Chigaryu died, then it could possibly be the end. And when you look at the battlefield, you gotta remember, not only did Chigaryu die, but most of his army was taken out with him thanks to Kyokai. And when Gi-eun went to take out Ohan, most of his army got wiped out by the Hishin unit. And most of the Banaji army was already taken out way earlier with Ohan and his tactics. So right now, their strongest force, manpower-wise, should be the Gakue army being led by Banaji. So trust me, right now I'm all for it to see Shin versus Gi-eun, but I'm also starting to wonder, is Shin actually going to be able to take out 3 generals in one arc? Not only Gakue, one of the Joe brothers, Chigaryu, but also Gi-eun? That's a crazy amount of work for one character. And right now, nobody wants to face Shin. Shin's pretty much unstoppable at this moment. The only way to save this, in my opinion, is for Riboku himself to go to that battlefield and step in. But the minute that happens, we all know that Osun will make his move. Combine it with the fact that Riboku's going to be getting a lot of bad news at once, because remember, he doesn't even know about the food being burned in Gyo. So taking out Chigaryu could have wound up being the key piece to actually ending this war. And yeah, the last thing I want to talk about in this batch of chapters was Shin himself, because Shin has really shown a lot of growth. And like without question, after this campaign, he's definitely going to be bumped up to general. I wouldn't be surprised if the battle actually continues that Osun himself bumps Shin up to general. Because it seems like to me that Shin has single-handedly willed this right wing to victory. And of course there were a lot of other people involved, but when it comes to these clutch plays, everything has always been resting on Shin's shoulders. And he's just been coming through time and time again. One of the key lines that shows me that Shin had a tremendous amount of growth was when he met back up with the rest of the men and he told them, not to cry for Shosa, because he had already cried enough for all of them. That one line really hit home. I thought that was like incredible on Shin's part. And another thing I liked about what we saw when we saw Shin versus Chigaryu, and how we saw the people that Chigaryu was carrying and we saw the people that Shin was carrying, if you really notice, Shin had some of his enemies in that mix. Because even though they're enemies and people he personally killed, they're also people who left him their legacies to carry on. With all the legacies we see Shin trying to carry forward, it's really not too much of a surprise that Chigaryu wound up falling to Shin. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about this chapter. I think we're pretty much caught up now. So let's move on to the comment of the week. And this week's comment comes from Unexpected Allah. And you got to remember, this was like 3 weeks ago. And what he had to say was, in my opinion, Chigaryu saw that he'd lose and that his master sent him to die as a challenge for Shin. And I really like that because as we've seen with all the predictions and stuff, it almost kind of seems like that. It really kind of seems like this test that Rinshoujo set up for whoever this future person would be, to see if they'd be worthy enough to be the one who'd unite these lands or something like that. And I really kind of think that's an interesting spin on it. But anyway, guys, that's about all I have for this week's chapter. Let me know what you guys thought of the chapter and past chapters in the comment section below. Please leave a like if you guys enjoyed the video, and feel free to share, comment, and subscribe. Peace out.